If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Holographist coach, Christine McIver.
Hey, everybody! Yes, it's radio time, podcast time, whatever you want to call it. It's time. So I am your host, Christine McIver, and tonight we are going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects. We're going to be talking about business. So hands up, how many of you out there love to talk about business or are in your own business and do everything you can to avoid talking about business or looking at business? Well, if any of that is true for you, I think tonight's show may just be what the doctor ordered. So tonight we're talking about business shaming or business claiming. So we, this is one of the biggest subjects I love talking about. Business turns me on and lights me up. And when I see how other people approach business, how other people kind of have one toe in the water of business and then are afraid to put the other toe in or are avoiding things, just lots of really, really interesting ways that people do business or don't do business, lack thereof. It just pulls me in to share more of what I know. So before we get into tonight's show, if this is your first time listening, I want to tell you a little bit about me. I am a holographist coach. So I'm a professionally trained coach with 25 years of human resources. I was raised by an entrepreneur. I've been around business people and entrepreneurs my whole life. And to me, it is, I believe we're all in our own business. We're all in the business of ourselves. We're all selling ourselves each and every day, whether we realize it or not. We're selling to people that we work for. We're selling to clients, customers. We're selling to friends. We're selling to all sorts of people, lovers, even family members. We're selling the brilliance of who we are. We're selling what we love. We are selling things that we enjoy. Oh, you should try this restaurant. It's fabulous. You're in sales. You're in a business. You're in the business of sharing what is brilliant to you and what you love. So this is something that we're all doing. And as a holographist coach, what I do is I invite you into literally stepping within the hologram of your desires. So how many desires do you have that are outside of you, that are far away, that you imagine hopefully someday it might happen, will show up in your life? But it's so far into your future that you can't possibly imagine it's actually going to occur. Do you have these hopes and dreams that are like these floating balloons that are so far off into the sky that you can't imagine you'll ever catch up to? Well, when you work with me, we're actually going to bring the dream to you. We're going to create it and step into it right here, right now. We are going to do something that I have been doing my whole life, and it's actually stepping into it, acting as though it is here right now. Now, a saying I used to use was fake it till you make it. And if that's what you need to do, if that helps you to move forward, fantastic. But we're not going to fake it. We're going to step into your hologram, and we're going to make it happen right here, right now. We're going to use pragmatic tools. We're going to look at your business. We're going to look at your relationships. We're going to look at the challenges that are holding you back, and we're going to have it created right here, right now. I have years and years of tools, all sorts of different programs that I have taken and worked in my life, in my relationships, in my parenting, in my business, and that's something that you are going to have available to you. If you listen to my radio shows, if you check out all of my past podcasts on whatever favorite podcast location, you will hear all sorts of tools that I share in all of my shows. I've been doing radio now for 9 years, so there's a lot of content out there that I would invite you to listen in on, because if this is something that resonates for you, I'm telling you that a lot of the other shows will be a contribution as well. So tonight, let's get back to that. Business shaming or business claiming. How do you want to feel about your business? Have you ever thought about, how do you really want to feel about your business? Now, that's a different question than how do you want your business to be? I'm asking you, how do you want to feel about your business? Wow, there is such energy on that. It's like, it's just like everybody just contracted when I asked that question. It got really, really heavy, really intense, and it is quite interesting. So I'm going to ask again, how do you want to feel about your business? And everything that doesn't allow you to have joy with feeling about your business, will you please obliterate and erase all of that right now? I want you to take all of those energies and push them aside. Awesome. Excited. Yes. Cool. So how do you want to feel about your business? Start to play in that imagine what's possible energy about feeling about your business. Who do you want to be in your business? Who do you want to be? What kind of a relationship do you want to have with you in your business? Do you see yourself as the founder, the CEO, the creator, the motivator, the changer? Do you see yourself as the artist? Do you see yourself as the dynamic energy that brings this business of yours alive? Or do you see yourself as the person that's not succeeding? The person that actually is failing? Do you see yourself as the person that doesn't really know what they're doing and hopes to God nobody else discovers that they don't know what they're doing? Interesting, isn't it? Do you hold back and feel ashamed with your business? Do you hold back in talking about it? Do you hold back in promoting it? Or do you actually claim your business creation and lean into the possibilities? Is that something you're excited about? And it does not matter where you are today with any of this, all right? What I really would love to begin to do is to acknowledge where you are at. If you are not willing to acknowledge where you're at, you cannot change it. If you've listened to my other shows, you know that I said this time and time again. If you cannot claim and acknowledge that you are struggling, then what you're going to do is put on blinders to what's truly going on and ignore it. You're not going to change anything when you have the blinders on. You've got to be willing to acknowledge it. And for the most part, when you acknowledge it, there is a release of energy. It's as if you've been in a pressure cooker, and the minute you acknowledge it, what you do is you open up the door or the window, just a crack, and you start to allow movement in there. And when you're doing that, when you're allowing the movement in, you're allowing change and possibility to enter with you. If you are really ready to end the shame that you have with yourself in business or with your business, and you're really ready to expand and claim your business, this is the show for you tonight. If you have any questions, if you have any struggles, I would love to invite you in to call with your questions. I can facilitate you. We can get to some interesting space to change these things quickly when you're willing to be that vulnerable. You don't have to use your real voice. You can use a different voice. Or if you're shy and you would like to ask some questions, come on over to the chat room, inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, and you can type your questions in the chat room, and I can answer you there. Now, if you're listening to this in the podcast, in the replay, please know my door is always open for you to send me an email to ask these questions of where you are struggling. Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, one of the things that I do for every single person is you can connect with me and you can have a 30-minute session with me where we will look at any topic you wish and we will change it. I love to facilitate with people. I love to consult with people and work one-on-one or in a group dynamic so that we can actually have more pleasure in our lives. See, one of the biggest things that I know is most people, they get very, very excited at the beginning of a business idea, and they start to lean into it, and they start to, do whatever they think they're supposed to do in business, and then they get the ball rolling, and they, maybe share it with somebody that isn't as aware of what the impact of their words, and those people often will judge the excitement of your business because maybe you don't have all your ducks in a row yet for the business. That's okay. Everybody starts somewhere, right? And so you're going along, you might tell it to somebody who kind of knocks you down a notch, and then you get out there and you don't know what you're doing. You don't have the years of experience. You don't have all of the tools. And you know what? It's so weird. It's like the minute you step into wanting to do something, you suddenly see all of the people around you who are brilliant in business. And where do you go? You go into comparison. You could start to judge yourself that you don't have the capacities that they have, and you start to really shut down on the possibilities with this amazing, brilliant business idea. Now, right out of the gate, I want you to get this. I want you to know that your business came to you. Your business knocked on your door, on your desire door, and said, I am here. When you get an idea, please know that idea is coming through for you. That idea wants to dance with you. That creation wants to play with you. And when that occurs, you have choice. You have choice to either invite that energy in, invite that idea in, and to work with it and to be a collaborator with it, or you can shut it down. You can ignore it. Nothing bad's going to happen, but if your desires keep turning up that you desire to have a business, you desire to have a successful business, these ideas, these business ideas, these opportunities are going to be knocking. And my question to you is, are you listening? Are you really listening and leaning in for those nudges, for those ideas? Are you ready to open and receive these business ideas? Are you? And are you really, truly willing to have a successful business, a thriving business? Just see what comes up with that question. A lot of people will say, oh yeah, I really, of course, I want to have a successful business. And then the next thing you know, when you start to speak with them, I've had this experience a lot with clients, is I'll ask them, tell me what your definition of business is, and then tell me what your definition of a successful business is. And if they don't meet, their present situation does not meet their definition of a successful business, guess where they're at? They are in the place of completely creating what they do not believe is successful. Because unless they fit into that one definition, they are the opposite of it. And that's where oftentimes the business shaming can actually begin. Now, when we first start out, of course, when we first start out in a business, we don't even know what that business is going to look like. But immediately what we do, which is a natural response of the human, is we look out to resources. We look for, how can I do this? How can I be successful? And we start to look at people that are successful. We start to imagine ourselves in that position. Let me give you an analogy to this. if you desired to be a skier and you'd never skied, I'm talking downhill skiing, in the snow, and you'd never downhill skied before, and suddenly you have this desire, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the ski hills and watch the professionals, or you're going to watch them online, and you're going to see the amazingness of what is possible when you're a professional skier. What else is going to happen is you are going to go, oh my God, I don't think I could ever be like that, because right now I'm this. Now, when we're younger, we see that as excitement and it pulls us forward. But as we get older and we step into this desire of our business, we don't do that. We immediately begin to compare ourselves, and that begins us shutting down. And then we start to create less than what we desire, and hence here comes the shame game. All right, we're going to go to our first break. When we get back, we're going to dive more into what does it look like when we are in shame, and then what does it look like to actually lean in to claiming the business as opposed to being in shame with the business. So you're listening to Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. If you're just joining, I would love for you to pop back and listen to the first segment of the show, because it really does set the stage for tonight's show. And tonight we're talking about business shaming or business claiming. So where are you at with your business? What pops up when I say those two different possibilities? Are you in the business shaming, or are you claiming your business and really turning it up and moving forward with it? Let's talk about business shaming and what that actually looks like. In order to do that, I want to first talk about the definition of the word shame. So the definition of the word shame is a feeling of guilt or disgrace. Confusion caused by shame, disgrace, dishonor, insult, loss of esteem or reputation, shameful circumstance, what brings disgrace, modesty, and private parts. That's the official definition of shame. Now, let's get into that. Did you start out in your business? Did you give up a job where you were making a pretty decent wage? And Are you in the space of have you recreated at least that amount of money? Now, if you have not, and there are people that depend on you, there are family members that depend on you, even yourself or your pets that depend on you, you can start to feel guilty for making the choice of going into your own business. Have you ever felt guilty about going into your own business? Have you ever felt guilty about not being able to provide for your family the way that you used to be able to provide? Yeah. Actually, a lot of people that are in their own business feel this way, and they struggle with it. I've worked with business owners for more than 10 years. And even when I was in HR working with the owners of those organizations, the guilt that they would feel guilt for their employees as well, because they maybe had to downsize. They maybe had to restructure the business and let people go. You know, most entrepreneurs have this desire to share excitement with the world, and they have a major desire to contribute to other people. And so when they hire someone on in their business, you know, they get very excited and they create a strong connection with someone. So if the business does not do well and they have to let somebody go, that's very personal to them. Now, what about yourself? Do you ever have any disgrace, any feeling of disgrace because what you cannot do, because you are not in the financial place to do it? Do you ever have any embarrassment because you don't have clients? Are you ever feeling embarrassed or ashamed that people are not choosing you? I so remember, you know, if you've ever felt that energy as well of competition, right? Underneath competition can lie shame. Just look at that. The energy of competition is, I want the customer, I want the accolades, I want the rewards more. I want to beat you, so I have to compete with you. Well, competition is a lie, first of all. Let me just, if you've never heard this before, competition is 100% a lie, and I'll tell you why. There is not two people in the world that are exactly the same. We all know this, all right? And the way that you do business and the way that I do business is different, but beyond that, the energy that I am is different from the energy that another person that does exactly the same different business opportunities that I do, the same way, you know, all those different things. If you had somebody that did exactly the same type of businesses that I do, their energy is different than mine. So there is absolutely no way that anybody can compete with me because my energy is different. What I bring to the table and the way I bring it is different. It's kind of like if you made an apple pie and I made an apple pie, we both know that those apple pies taste different, even if we use the exact same ingredients in the exact same recipe. Does that make sense? So there's no competition truly in business. And when you start to get this, you start to let go of that competition and that shame regarding competition and what other people are doing. But if you have any kind of disgrace or shame around what you can or cannot do because of where your business is at, what you're doing is you're cutting off the energies that are required in order for the people, your peeps out there that are looking for you to work with you. They're looking for your specific brand, your specific services or products. You are cutting off them being able to find it because you are buried under this energy that doesn't allow the truth of who you are forward. So business shame, if you have business shame, what it does is you're recreating that every single day to have more of it, right? It's absolutely this oxymoron that if you have it and you look at it, you can, just change it. But you've got to be willing to claim, and this is a big piece, you've got to be willing to claim the brilliance of who you be and the brilliance of your business. Great comments in the chat room by Keisha, my amazing producer tonight. She said, that is the ugly little piece, isn't it? The perpetual comparison of the earnings to when you were working a regular job. Exactly. So comparison is the same as competition, isn't it? But in this case, and what Keisha's referring to, that competition is within yourself. And you are competing with what you've decided in some cases is the good choices you've made and the poor choices you have made. So you are creating within yourself guilt and shame and disgrace because of what choice you did or did not make. All right, let's move forward. If you are ever feeling that your reputation, so let me give you an example. I was the director of human resources for an international organization for all of Ontario, okay? And this position came with a great deal of responsibility, a great deal of pressure, and it also came with a really sexy title. It came with a credit card. It came with a great salary. It came with bonuses, and it came with traveling expenses, right? Really, really awesome things that came with. And for me, that was, it felt like the pinnacle of my career. That, look where I am, because I worked my way up, and I did that for 25 years. And as I started into my business and I started, really not knowing what direction to go in or how to grow my business, and I actually started my business when there was a deep recession hitting, which I didn't realize at the time, which is kind of cute. But hey, 10 years in my business, so that didn't stop me. But what I started to do was started to really contract when my business wasn't flourishing as great as I had imagined it would, fairly easily out of the gate. So I started to have this shame around my old group of people in the business world. And I would, I pulled myself away. Well, when you want to put your business out there and be known, that's the last thing you want to do. You don't want to hide in a closet, right? You want to actually step out there. But if you're comparing yourself and you're expecting your business out of the gate to be everything that your career was when you weren't carrying all the hats, you're going to cover yourself in shame, all right? And how many of you have looked at what other people are doing and how they're creating and how amazing they've got, lots of different creations going on, and you're not getting any ideas? How many of you are embarrassed by your lack of creativity or your lack of, awareness around your business? Yeah, I was there too. I really was. I can remember when people were asking me questions about what would be fun and what would be creative and how I would like to create. And I seriously looked like a deer in headlights. I had no ideas. But do you know why that was, my friends? It was like I had earplugs in because I was worried and I was in fear around not being able to create like everybody else. And because of that, I couldn't receive, I couldn't hear the amazing ideas, the amazing opportunities. The fun and the play was not there. and I cut off my receiving and created more and more and more shame. So that it just gives you an idea of how easily it is that we can be in shame. And, if we have people around us that are looking for our support, or they have an expectation of us, or, we have family members that are in their own business, if we have any of that around, we feel a major obligation. We can feel a huge obligation to being successful, which actually cuts us off from being successful. It's such a fine line. And so tonight, I would really love for you to look at that. Is there any of this that I've been speaking to so far? Is there any of that that's true for you? Is there anything that pops up any times in your business so far where you felt hesitant to share what you're doing, or you felt hesitant to step out there and invite people to it? Have you ever felt hesitant to go to a business event because your business wasn't doing great? If ever you felt any of that, please know that you are wearing a cloak of shame. And that cloak of shame is stopping you from showing up to the customers and clients you would love to choose you, and it's stopping you from receiving even more creativity. And it's the biggest thing, and we're going to talk about this when we come back, is it's stopping you from actually connecting with your business. You connected with your business in the beginning. That's why you created it. You're not connecting with it so much anymore if any of this is true for you. And so we want to dive into that when we get back from the break. So stay tuned, everyone. We'll be back shortly. You're listening to Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll talk soon.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining tonight. We're talking about business shame or business claiming. So, are you shaming yourself or are you shaming your business? Are you claiming the business brilliance that you are, that the fact that you have a business that is desiring to play with you, or are you running away from acknowledging where you're at, which is not allowing you to actually step into claiming your business fully, 100%, every single solitary day? Ask yourself that question. You know, one of the biggest things that I find is people they start in their own business and they very quickly, you know, we get really excited. These business ideas come through. We get really excited. We can see it very, very fast. And we start to create a piece of it so quickly. And then there is, you know, as we settle into it and we see that there's more to our day-to-day, maybe you didn't realize how much had to actually be created around your bookkeeping or around your advertising and marketing, around networking, around, you know, maybe online apps, online programs, and maybe computers are not your forte, and you stop and you stop yourself there and you start to go into business shame because you don't know how to do these things, right? And you listen to other people. Let me ask you this question. When you first started to do anything, did you know how to do it all right off the get-go? When you got your very first job, did you have to be trained? Did you have to learn how to do your first job? The first job I ever had was working in a coffee shop, in an extremely busy coffee shop. I didn't know how to do those things. I didn't know how to, you know, it was a donut shop as well, and I had to make donuts, and I had to make coffee, and I had to, you know, really learn how to run the cash register. I had to learn how to, you know, keep my eye on what the clients needed, the customers needed. I had to keep my eye on making sure everything was clean. I had a laundry list of things to do, and I didn't know how to do all these things, and I needed to be trained. And, you know, sometimes I got some of those things really, correctly, and then there are other times that I just wasn't getting it. And so they had to teach me, you know, train me again, right? And then as I got those things, my responsibilities increased. And so guess what? You're back into the training loop again. Well, when you're in your own business, guess what? You are the employee and you are the trainer. You are the owner. So if you don't know something and you start to criticize yourself, you're going to cut off the possibilities of how you can learn it. You're going to cut off the possibilities of maybe even sitting and reading about how to do something. You're going to cut yourself off from receiving. You see, business is all about receiving, my friends. And if you're in business shame, you're in receiving beliefs, judgments, points of view by others or by yourself. But if you're in business claiming, yeah, my friends, if you're in business claiming, you're stepping into and you're leaning into all of the possibilities of receiving. So right now, what I would love to invite you into is I'd love you to invite you into saying right now, I am claiming my business. Whether today is your first day in business or your 1,000th day in business or 10,000th day in business, I want you to claim your business. I'm claiming it. Now, what does it mean to claim something? What is the definition of claiming? So just give me 1 second because it just came to me. To claim something. What is the definition? Show us the definition. To claim is to call out, to ask or demand by virtue of right or authority. To call a name, describe, to call out. So right now, I want you to know that your business is your right. Your business came to you, and you have the authority to claim it. Now, who are you claiming this to? You're claiming it to you, the one who has been under that cloak of shame. You're saying right now, I'm claiming this business. This business is mine, and I'm going to lean into it, and I'm going to create this business. I'm going to make this business successful, and I'm going to do it one day at a time. one day at a time. And that means you're going to start to learn, and you're going to be kind and gentle with yourself. But here's the big ticket, my friends. When you claim it, when you lean in with intention and desire and purpose, when you're saying, I'm owning this business, I'm claiming it, and I'm going to do everything I can to enjoy it, to have pleasure with it, and to know that my business wants to be with me. When you do that, you suddenly are able to begin to hear your business clearer and clearer. When you are leaning in to your business each and every day, and you have that skip in your step as you're walking into your office, and you sit down and you look at your stacks of paper, you look at, maybe your notes all over, you start to go, wait a second, I'm going to claim this business, I'm going to make it organized, I'm going to have things flow with pleasure. You start to change your point of view, and it's really all about you. You can actually change your point of view, and you can change the energy of you with your business when you're ready to claim it. Let go of the shame, my friends. There are 8 billion people on this planet. I looked up how much money there was in the world. I can't even remember what it said anymore. There are trillions and trillions of dollars in the world. And if there is that much money in the world, do you think that possibly your business could have a slice of that pie? Do you? Are you ready to have your business be the success that you desire? Well, you've got to own it. You've got to claim it. You've got to be proud of it. You've got to be saying to yourself, okay, this is where I am. This is where I am right now. I don't care if right now you're in business and you have expenses that you are struggling paying. I don't care whether you have a list of past investments that you've made that you still owe on. I don't use the word debt because it's not a debt. It's not something you owe. In your business, it's an investment that you have made, okay? I don't care how much investment income you still owe or how much you're bringing in or not. Your business is not worried about that. Your business is desiring for you to claim it and lean into it. And if each and every day you come to your business and you're excited to create and you ask your business to show me what would be so much fun to create, show me how I can be the leader of this business for you and for me. Show me. Your business, it's going to be so much fun. It's kind of like this. Do you ever go and look at something online? And for some people, this might feel creepy, but do you ever go and look at something? Let's say you go and look at something on Amazon, or you go and look at a book or something you want to purchase, right? You go and look at it, and then suddenly you go on other websites that have advertising, and suddenly, like there they are. They're popping, those things that you were looking for suddenly are popping up everywhere, right? Well, guess what? That's what occurs with your business, my friends, when you start to lean into it in this way. You say, I'm going to have that, blue car. I'm going to have that blue car. And suddenly you start seeing blue everywhere because you've claimed you're going to have it. If you do this with your business, the same thing will occur. I am telling you, I can tell you a story about that. It absolutely happens. But what really makes a difference for you having this business to being prosperous and growing and being more successful than it's ever been before, it's up to you and what your point of view is and where you're going to be at with your business. If you continue to act with shame or regret or frustration or humiliation, any of those energies with your business, you are going to kill your business because nothing can survive under that energy consistently. All right? We're going to go to our last break. When we get back, I'm going to give you a couple more tips on how you can really lean into and have so much fun claiming your business. You're listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, on the Inspired Choices Network show. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The pleasure of business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page, Pleasure o' Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Tonight we're talking about business shaming or business claiming. So what I'd love to put out there to you is, if in your mind, what I really want you to think about is if you are in the energy of business shaming and you're not willing to lean into really looking at that, what often happens when someone is in shame is they hide and they don't acknowledge where they're at. And if you're not acknowledging where you are at, you cannot change anything. This is huge. If you are struggling in business to figure out any tools or applications or how-tos, if you're really, really struggling and it's creating more and more of this shame, you need assistance. You need someone's help. We all do. You're on a planet. You came here to be with other people, okay? So one of the biggest things that will change this is your willingness to drop the shame, put up your hand, and ask for help. When you acknowledge, look, I'm struggling, this is where I'm at, you start to take the pressure off, as I said earlier, and you can start to unpack it with someone. When you're willing to unpack where you are at, this is where you can start to get the information required to shift forward, to get the tools, maybe to get somebody who would mentor you, maybe to find a coach that you can work with, right? I would dare to anybody that's been in business to say that they haven't been in that area of business shame. I would challenge anyone, because I think that each and every business owner out there has struggled with this at one time or another. And I can tell you, the minute I got over myself and my big, like, oh my God, this is terrible, and I put up my hand and I started asking for help and I started working with a coach, it changed everything for me. When we have all of this pressure on us, we're afraid to make new choices because we've maybe this is true for you, bought the point of view that we are not good at making the right choices. So guess what we do? We stay farther down there in shame. Or maybe something great happens, and the minute something great happens, we get really excited for about 3.6 seconds, and then we go into, oh God, I hope this doesn't fall apart. I hope this doesn't go away. I hope they don't realize what a mess up I am and like not want to work with me. And we're expecting for the whole thing to blow up, to go back to that quote unquote normal energy of shame, right? So when you are willing to claim your business and start to work with your business and start to ask your business questions, things can begin to change. When you're putting all of your energy and all of your focus just on one area of your business, though, it can feel like a great deal of pressure. So if there's a possibility for you to do some additional things within your business, you can start to shift that pressure and you can start to, again, listen to your business. You know, if you don't know this, I'll let you know that I am the founder of the Inspired Choices Network. We are a global TV, magazine, and radio platform, and we have hosts from all over the world, listeners from all over the world, and our business, this business, you know, we have a reach of millions of people all over the world, and I was the person that started this. And let me tell you, I've only got a couple of minutes, but I want to tell you this, that I had gotten basically into the fetal position with my business. And I was ready to get a job at McDonald's because I didn't have money for anything. And it was at that moment that I asked my business, tell me, show me what to choose, show me what direction. And I had already been in radio for a year and a half, and I had decided it was not successful. And I heard my business say radio. And I literally said out loud, as if it was a person standing in front of me, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Everything that we didn't make, that wasn't successful. And then all of a sudden in my head, I went, shut up, stop, just do it. And here I am 5 years later, and I have created this over time of asking questions and working with people. I have created an incredibly successful business. My friends, I know where you're at, and if you've listened to this show and you've listened this far, I'm giving the first 10 people a 1-hour session, no cost. We'll talk about your business. I really have a desire for people to have the pleasure and joy, and if I can unlock this for you, work with you, it would be such a pleasure for me. Come back next week. I have a very different show I'm going to be talking about. It's not going to be so much about business. It will probably have some aspects of it, but it's called I Failed to Speak. I would love for you to join me in that show as I reveal more about my journey and about how I've changed it. My friends, there are hundreds of podcasts available here on the Inspired Choices Network platform, many of mine. I would love for you to check them out. And until next week, I want you to remember, you can always make another choice.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring